All right. The slap heard around the world.
Jesus.
Welcome, folks. If you're listening live with us today, this is Monday, March 28th, 2022. And last night, Will Smith slapped the shit out of Chris Rock.
Possibly the greatest moment in television history.
Everybody knows, well, maybe not everybody knows, but the shot heard around the world that uh, kicked off the Revolutionary War. But this shall go down in history as one of the craziest on-screen moments from a sketch show, or not a sketch show, from an award show that is 100% staged and scripted.
Mm-hmm.
But it also makes
Um,
you think if that was scripted too. So that's my question to you, sir.
I so I thought it was scripted because it almost didn't look real. Chris Rock's like flinch was almost a little too quick, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like he saw it coming, he maybe got hit or he pretended to get hit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, cuz Will Smith originally laughed at the joke.
That's true. That was my biggest thing. Like, and he laughed hard, like
Yeah,
full
but
body, and he was like smiling after he like said it too. So
but then you see
obviously,
Jada on the side though and she's like, "Oh, you're going to let him say that about me, huh?" Huh?
yeah. I think so. Chris Rock leans in a little bit. You could see that.
Mhm.
The only thing that makes it real or makes it really real, is like afterwards, Chris Rock didn't know what to say,
Oh
and
yeah.
he even messed up. Like, we're here to give out a documentary instead of an award for a documentary.
Mhm.
So it felt like that was a little more ad libbed, and he didn't know what to say in the moment. But like you said, he's laughing, and then all of a sudden he comes up and slaps him. It looked
Yep.
staged from Chris Rock's point of view, but also, and I don't know if this is just because Will Smith has been in a lot of action movies: I Am Legend, Gemini Man, Independence Day, you name it.
That
Where
that was a pretty solid power slap.
that was just off the top of my head. I'm just good like that.
But
Oh wait, yeah. So that was, I like what I was saying is, I think he was trained by these stunt guys, and so he knows how to rear back, but also not
mhm.
like hurt him. Because I feel like, it wasn't necessarily a loud slap. It was almost like a minor punch sound. But if he hit him with that force, I feel like he would have got pretty injured. Like,
Uh-huh.
his clock would have been cleaned,
Yep, he
seeing
wouldn't have just stood
stars,
there.
stumbling a little bit.
But
You
also
know,
notice how there's only one camera angle just to get that behind the back Will Smith shot just so you can't really see the contact. And have there been any pictures that have come out that actually show the contact?
oh, that's true.
Like I want that shit zoomed in. I want it to look like a UFC fight, all angles.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. And another reason why it could be staged is, in the past couple of years, this is 2022, but like, say for the past 10 years, you could probably look at increasingly, or decreasingly. Wait, what was I saying? Worsening fucking ratings for the Oscars.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. So
Dude,
maybe they
after
scripted it just to get that one, have the clicks, have the click rate,
mhm.
and if people think about it, like, you post a YouTube video, here's Will Smith slapping the shit out of Chris Rock.
Yep.
Oh, and here's the rest of what we were doing. Here's the rest of the nominees, and watch two ads while you're at it.
I honestly don't even feel like it's just the Oscars. I mean, I feel like ever since they took Ricky Gervais off of the Emmys, it just kind of went downhill. Like they want to see a host take digs at these uber famous people.
Hmm.
They want to hear some kind of scandalous shit.
Right, and Ricky Gervais was, he's kind of the guy that doesn't give a shit,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that was that the year before Kevin Hart got in trouble for his tweets.
I think so. Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
a
because
year or two before.
yeah, yeah, and that was the beginning of kind of the cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously Ricky Gervais never cared, and he said what he wanted to, and he doesn't really
Yep.
care about being canceled if that was even a possibility for him. So
See, I
I'd
feel
love to
like
get
the way
back
that
to that point, but man, I don't even know if we can get back to that right now. I feel like we're like
I
too deep into the rabbit hole.
I was just gonna say I feel like he's very calculated in what he says. he'll get his point across about wanting to take a dig at something, but he won't say it in a super offensive way. It'll just kind of make you be like, "Oh, you motherfucker."
Yeah, and it's you know what also helps is his thick English accent.
Yep.
Where you're like, oh, this China bloke is just trying to mess with me. He's not being serious, laddie.
Yo, geezer.
Yo, well, geezer, you gypsy motherfucker. But no,
The Peaky Blinders.
it doesn't hurt as much because it's coming from a different, you know. What I mean? Like if somebody,
I mean,
somebody from East India was calling me out. Oh, you can't do that, you stupid white boy. You know, like I wouldn't be as offended.
Okay.
Unless it was, if you know what I mean, if it was coming from someone with just an American accent, I feel like it hits harder because you hear it every day, and you're like, you expect people to be nice to you. But if it comes from a different accent, it's like, oh, maybe that's just how they do it in their culture.
I mean, if I see some dude from like Dagestan coming up to me like, "Strasfuzi, I'm gonna kick the shit out of you," I'm like, I'm gonna nope right out of there, bud. Especially if he has the beard with no mustache. I'm not fucking with him.
Look.
The Khabib look.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking with him.
Yeah.
I mean, Khamzat Chimaev, yeah. I mean, so have you seen what he looks like?
Who's it?
His name's Khamzat. I'll try to say it in how
Khamzat?
I think it's supposed to sound. Khamzat Chimaev.
Okay.
Colby Covington called him Cumshot Chimaev. But this dude, he's got the beard, no mustache. But when this dude was younger, he had his upper lip split open. So he's just got this big scar and this lip that almost looks like a Tetris piece.
Really?
And all he does is, I'm going to smash everybody.
Smash. Hulk
Smesh.
Oh,
Smash.
I'm gonna smash everybody.
Yeah. All right, bold prediction, but he will be the next double champ.
Double champ. Okay.
He has what it takes. He has a fight, I think, April 9th against Gilbert Burns. So that'll be if he beats Gilbert Burns, he's getting a title fight.
Who's the current double champ? McGregor.
He was the last one.
Okay, that was a couple years ago. I remember seeing that.
Because that was when the
featherweight
whole
and lightweight. Right?
I think light heavyweight, whatever the one above it is.
I know
Because that's when
he was gonna fight 155 division, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's what he's trying to fight now.
Because he was
there's
always
talks of him coming
I
back.
think he was in the 140, low 140s.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he fought 145.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then before him was good old DC Dan Cormier. But yeah, this dude Khamzat Chimaev, he's going to be the next double champ.
Khamzat.
He has a fight. So he throws one punch, immediately takes him down, drags this dude over to where Dana White is, and he's just yelling the craziest shit at Dana White, like, "Give me another person to fight. I beat this guy in 30 seconds. Give me another person. I take 2 one night. 175, 190, or whatever the weights were." He was just saying the stupidest shit, but he's killing everybody.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, we got off on a little tangent, but yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the second shift, where the start of your day, the end of your day is the start of ours. Yeah.
Your day's ending and ours is just getting started, even though we just both worked a full day. So we're clocking in our second shift, as you would say.
Yeah. I'm on 4 hours of sleep, so I might say some weird stuff.
Ooh.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Saturday I got 2 hours of sleep, and last night I got 10.
Oh.
So I had to make up for it last night. I took a Benadryl at like 9 o'clock.
Okay, but sometimes though those 10-hour sleeps, they hurt more than they help.
Yeah. Wonder why that is. You overcompensate? Is that what happens?
Guess.
Because you don't have a longer REM sleep cycle, right?
No, I think it's just more like filler time.
Okay. So it's a point of diminishing returns.
Pretty much. That's how I would take it as.
Gotcha. Anyway,
All
today we're talking about the third installment of the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
The end of the Fellowship.
The return of the Jedi. The return of the King. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, So I'll kind of just do a broad series first.
Okay.
Out of the movies, I think this was kind of my least favorite movie out of the three.
Wow.
So the second one was probably my favorite.
Yeah. Second one's
I
my
feel
favorite.
like the Battle of Helm's Deep kind of takes everything.
Yeah.
First one, you need all that setup. You need to understand who the characters are, the way that they interact with each other,
Mm-hmm.
and just the overall development of the Fellowship of the Ring.
Right.
The third one, I honestly feel like the first hour of this movie could have been cut out.
Yep. You're absolutely right.
It it,
It's a lot
it
of
was just
like the second one should lead right into like
exactly
a 3 hour
like
battle in a way. This one
like
just keeps setting it up. You guys.
yeah. The second one ends with Frodo, Sam, and Smeagol on top of the mountain overlooking Mordor. That's where it should have picked off at.
Yeah.
Not a bunch of elves being like, "Oh, we have to. Oh no, we can't."
Right.
Like the whole part between Arwen and her dad, like that was just too like way
Oh,
too much of a show.
that was the part where she imagined an old Aragorn and her son, right?
Yeah, with the baby, yeah.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
like that the flashback could have stayed, but you don't need the damsel in distress with the thing she's doing.
Right, and she wasn't even really necessarily in distress. It was just like, oh, I should go back to my father and let him know of my dreams and my hopes and dreams. But like after that, what is that? How does that impact anything except for that?
Yeah.
What's her dad's name again? I keep forgetting.
Uh give me a minute. Elrond.
Elrond. Elrond comes to the Fellowship, right? And he says, she's still alive, and she's dying because of the darkness is reaching her, and it basically gives Aragorn kind of an extra kick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of felt justified when he told, I think was it Merwin or Marwin, the blonde girl.
Oh,
He basically
yeah.
was like, "It's not you, it's me."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My girlfriend's dying because Sauron is impeding the Elvish land, and I need to kill him so that I can get her back. So it's not going to work between us, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of felt the same way that Jamie told Brienne that he wasn't into her, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Even though that
You
was
don't know
bullshit.
who I am.
That was bullshit. Fuck
Mhm.
Game of Thrones. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
But yeah, still overall great movie. Not saying it was a bad movie. I'm just saying probably out of the three, it was my least favorite.
Mhm.
But great movie. I did feel like this movie kind of took some shortcuts around some of the continuity or the special effects.
Okay.
Like there was a part where Theoden's one son, during the one battle scene, he takes a big giant pike, and you kind of almost just see like his hand move like he was trying to throw it, but it's very obviously being held there.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. There was a part where Gandalf rides in, grabs a staff when he's going to kill the dude who's about to light himself on fire.
Yep.
When Gandalf rides in, grabs that dude's staff, he grabs it upside down, but then when the scene cuts and it goes to the next camera angle, he's got it right side up. So it was just kind of like little things like that.
Little nitpicky stuff.
Yeah.
I got
Like they almost kind of got lazy. Like, okay, third movie, final movie, let's just get it out, get the money, and be done with it.
Gotcha. So, yeah, I would agree. The second one's my favorite. I love Helm's Deep. I love the setup there. I love the intro to Smeagol, not like the continuation of him per se. But the characters continue with their tropes, right? Gandalf and Frodo are very trusting and kind of give people second chances. Aragorn's he just wants to kind of make a better name for himself and lead the way he can, the best way he can. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Elrond did give him the sword that would give him power over the army of the dead. So he actually did have a bigger impact. Anyway,
So that was actually one of the differences between the books and the movies. I mean, I can get into that later.
yeah,
But yeah, that's one of the differences.
So I really like this movie, and I think it was a very good end to everything. A good catharsis for every character, and throughout the whole trilogy, you're kind of showing a lot of differences between races
Mm-hmm.
and how they get along. You see at the end where Gimli and Legolas, they're talking about dying as friends. In the
Yep.
beginning, they're kind of butt heads a little bit.
I will not fight with an elf.
Right. And it's a great arc for Sam's character. And I also have a pretty hot take that I think Sam is the main character of the series because he did all of the legwork in this one. I get that Frodo wore the ring and was kind of taken by it, and if it wasn't for his sacrifice, then they wouldn't have even been able to get there.
Mm-hmm.
But Sam, I mean, he is like the MVP of the not only the league but like the entire sport of getting the
Mm-hmm.
ring to Mordor. I mean, goes to save Frodo up in the highest tower through all those orcs.
Mm-hmm.
Fights off Schmeagol, saves him from the fucking spider. I hate that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I mean, just
carries him.
time and time again, just coming back after he's pushed away.
Right, and it's such a good trope for him to have. He's the true friend.
Yeah.
He was treated like shit by Frodo a lot. I mean, it's pretty clear. He tells him to go home, and he kind of cries and falls down the hill, and I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he gets put down, but he keeps
Yeah.
coming back, man. That guy is a true friend, and he's an MVP.
It's just the best don't lose hope story.
Right, right, and yeah, but you also do see like Frodo will admit like the ring is my burden to bear, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to save you, Sam. Like if you took this by yourself, it would have corrupted you. So we
Mm-hmm.
just really reiterates the whole um, power corrupts absolutely, or absolute power corrupts absolutely, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it doesn't matter how good you are, that ring is a source of evil. It's a conduit of evil, and
Yep.
you know, obviously Frodo physically couldn't really do it in this movie, but spiritually and emotionally, that's kind of his biggest arc. Is that deep down he's such a good, lighthearted, and kind of optimistic figure that even the worst impulses of the ring would still keep him on track.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah,
Well,
hope
I kind of want to go
inspires
back.
so much.
Yeah.
And also last thing, the fight was awesome. It was right, but it was too close to the middle of the movie, and the Army of the Dead just kind of doesn't do it for me. It just, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the fight of the Hogwarts where if they wanted to call in the ghosts to fight, it wouldn't even be a problem. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it's just like it's like an OP power.
Yeah, I'll definitely touch on that. I wanted to go back first. How you were saying how kind of Gandalf and Frodo almost had that inherentness to trust people.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that, but I feel like it's different in a sense. Like Frodo was naive.
Right.
If he thought someone had their best interest in him, he would trust them wholeheartedly. He wouldn't vet them. Whereas like Gandalf is kind of that slow, methodical, like, yeah, I'll be nice to you, but I'm still trying to figure out who you are type of person.
Right. Right.
So I
Yeah.
feel like
Yep.
it's almost different stages of the same person. Like you got to go through all these downfalls to realize, oh shit, okay, this is where I messed up. This is what I have to change in my thinking, and then move on. And I feel like that's where Gandalf was when he was younger, just learning the ropes of just the real world.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're right. They are different in that Gandalf's kind of giving people second chances, almost like physically. Like
Mm-hmm.
he comes in and gives Theoden his second chance by bringing him back to the light. He
Mm-hmm.
gives he honestly gives is it Delator or who's the
The king who tried to burn himself.
yeah,
I forget his name, but I know who you're talking about.
he gave him a lot of second chances and then gave
Yeah.
Faramir a big second chance. He could have let
Mm-hmm.
him just burn there. But you're right. It's a vetting, and it's a trusted and calculated second chance that he knows is going to make an impact for good.
Yeah. Okay, now back to the Army of the Dead.
Yeah.
So I thought the scene in itself was cool as shit for the time period. Those special effects I think worked pretty well.
Yeah, I think so
I,
too.
I would This scene to me was visually pleasing, and it it made sense. I mean, granted, it's like one of those things where, oh, press a button and it nukes the entire map, and you
Mm.
just move on to the next level. Like you were saying, just kind of like some OP just kill move to get them all done just in one.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
I feel like that's how a lot of the battle scenes just in general go. It's not looking too good. Not looking too good. Someone comes. They're winning. Uh-oh. Bigger enemy.
Right.
Not looking too good. Not looking too good. Oh, and now there's an unstoppable force.
Yep. Yep.
So I felt like it was just very predictable.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just felt like almost detached, like in a way
Mm-hmm.
that I don't know why they needed to go. I mean, obviously they needed to get more men, and Aragorn knew that that was exactly what he needed to do. But it just felt like one of those things that were like, oh, we need to level the playing field a little bit. They have massive elephants with spikes on the end of their tusks. How are
Mm-hmm.
we going to level the playing field from just being a bunch of men on horses? So I get it. It just feels like filler army to me.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I would have been more pleased with the trees coming to help.
True. Yeah, there were literally zero ends.
Yeah, not one. And I thought that for some reason I've seen this movie before. I thought that they did come in um, to help, but
Might have been the extended cut.
yeah, I
But I
don't
mean,
know.
also in the movie too, what happens to Sauron?
Yeah, you don't in the theatrical version. He's not. You don't.
Yeah, I mean, in the extended cut, you kind of find out, but that's not even really how he died.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, even the theatrical version at 3 hours and
Yeah,
20 minutes, right?
320.
I mean, it's hard to fit so much in there. I feel as though the more important, like you said, the first hour of just still trying to recruit so many people, it's kind of gratuitous.
Mm-hmm.
You could have given more meaningful scenes to like just Frodo and Sam. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe they instead of being in the mountains the whole time, they go through like a lake, or they have to dodge lava on the way
Mm-hmm.
in, and they have to fight Schmeagol, and maybe they for a second they're able to kind of bring him back to reality and make him think of his old days and change, and they trust him again, and you know
Mm-hmm.
I, but at the same time, them just being in the mountains was kind of boring.
Yeah.
We weren't really doing much. Obviously they had the spider in, but I fucking hate the spider. Take the spider out,
Mm-hmm.
please. Oh, I hate that scene. Not because it wasn't good. Obviously, the way that they shot it with looking up from the ground,
Yeah.
looking past Frodo and seeing it like stalk him above, great. You know, obviously the effects with it are fantastic. But
Mm-hmm.
I hate spiders, and I hate the way that it hit him like that.
Mm-hmm. See, my thing when the whole spider scene was happening, when the little stingers coming out of his butt, it just made me think of that like one Family Guy character like, I'm gonna touch you. I'm gonna touch you. I'm gonna poke you in my butt. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, it. I don't know. I would have liked to see more of a fang bite rather than a boat puck. A boat puck. Wow, a
Butt
butt
poke.
poke. 4 hours of sleep, man,
There you
does
go.
wonders. Another thing that has to do with the continuity, at least for the theatrical version, is whatever happens to Gandalf's staff.
That's true.
Because at the end of the
When's the last
movie,
time he
he's not
uses it?
fighting with it. So, uh, in the extended edition, he goes to confront the Witch King briefly,
Uh huh.
and that's when he breaks the staff.
Oh,
But
interesting.
like in the book, it's stated that only Sauron can defeat Gandalf. So it's like, if Sauron's the only one that can beat him, how can the Witch King break the staff? Firstly, and it just doesn't make sense how the movie tried to do it.
Right. Interesting. Um, yeah, because I didn't even see that scene. You only see the scene where the Witch King and the dragon knocks Theoden off of his horse, and he's about to eat
Mm-hmm.
him, and then Mary comes in, or May,
Mary.
Mar- Mayowen, right? The
Oh,
girl.
yeah.
And she comes in, and that's a great effect of it knocking the head almost off, and you see it still trying to move its body, and then
Oh, with the dragon, yeah.
yeah, and then she actually cuts the head off completely, and it's still moving
Mm-hmm.
around. Obviously, you don't really want to make it too bloody because you would just
He would lose it.
you would lose viewership. You might that might change it to rated R, but like if you had an open
Well,
head like
oh,
that,
okay. Making that too bloody, the orcs literally launched decapitated heads at them.
oh, that's true. But there wasn't a lot of blood. You don't see a lot of blood. You know what I mean?
But I mean, there's no bodies attached to those heads.
That's true.
It's got to implicate something.
I would almost argue that the spider scene stabbing him was the most horrifying part. You know. Also in the
So
beginning where you're seeing Schmeagol turn into his golem form.
Oh yeah.
That's like a horror sequence. Like that is
Mm-hmm.
scary. Scary. Also, Andy Serkis when he was like actually Andy Serkis.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you could see how Gollum's gonna be foreshadowed by him putting that worm on the hook,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of just like enjoying it, like looking at him, enjoying it being tortured. And
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting. I think it says something interesting about Gollum as a character. Is he was such an early on. He was so early on. He was very sadistic and kind of fucked in the head.
Mm-hmm.
And having the ring for so many years, not only did it, create an addiction for him,
Mm-hmm.
but it took someone that was originally not an honorable person and deformed them.
Yeah.
So
True.
it's like if you compare how long he had it to his original impulses versus what Frodo was doing, I wonder what it would have done to him if he had kept it for so many years. Like,
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you saw what happened with Bilbo.
right,
Nothing really.
that's true.
It just
Yeah.
seems like Smeagol was a lesser type of man because they were saying he was almost like a hobbit, but I don't think they ever really said what he was.
Right, right, yeah.
Also,
My point is that basically
I, I,
his personality and his impulses were darker, and so it just felt like it almost feels like the ring, kind of brings the darkness out of you in a kind of a more not prolonged, pronounced way. So actually
Yeah.
turning him into something of a being, like a creature, is what has that impact. So
I was also gonna say that the Smeagol scene before he actually turns into Gollum, he looks so much like Rob Corddry.
oh my god, yeah, I could see that.
I was expecting to see like Hot Tub Time Machine, like come sail away with me, and just see some like classic rock song. Come on.
That's a good point. He does kind of look like that, a little bald and
Mm-hmm.
yep. Let's just talk about the elephants for a second. I mean, really impressive CGI to see them come
Yeah.
through. I mean, what did Theoden really think he was going to do by charging at each one?
And
I mean,
especially the ones that have the barbed wire, just lines connecting the two tusks, and they're just moving their heads back and forth, just mowing people down.
absolutely mowing. Yeah, that's a good word for it. Incinerating people. Like, every elephant had a different thing. One of them had barbed wire. One of them had spikes. One of them had this big rope thing, and the CGI for them was really impressive. The CGI lacked when Legolas got on top of it.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that was a little janky, but
Seeing those elephants though made me really want to see elephants in Game of Thrones.
yeah, seems like a
I
missed
mean, granted, they wouldn't
opportunity.
be. Well, I mean, unless they had like mammoths like they had up north, they had just like down south mammoths. But yeah, that would
Southern
have been
mammoths.
badass. Yeah, that would have been badass.
But
I like the costumes for those dudes riding the elephants.
oh yeah,
I like that they were more like tribesmen rather than like orcs or some other like made up non-humanoid.
Right. It almost shows like that they trained them from birth and they lived
Yeah.
amongst them and
Mm-hmm.
yep.
Or it just shows that it's not just like orcs versus humans. It's just the bad versus good.
Have you ever seen the movie 300?
No,
Okay.
I have not.
Well, the main pharaoh or Roman, not Roman.
Xerxes.
Yeah, Xerxes. Yeah. He looks just like that guy.
True.
Kind of the same look.
Mm-hmm. But see, now ever since I saw that South Park episode with Xerxes, it'll never. That's the one where Mr. Garrison had his sex change. So now he's Mrs. Garrison, but then he goes to a lesbian bar.
Back you, Mr. Garrison.
Yeah, and then turns out that Xerxes is a lesbian, and then they just end up scissoring. South Park's kooky.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, overall, it was a great movie. I'd probably give it like a 7.5, 8 if I were to rate it.
Yeah, if I was to go from all three, I would go with Two Towers a 10 out of 10. And then I would go Return of the King probably a 7. And then Fellowship probably a 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like, personally, sometimes I feel like they drag on. Maybe that's just me having a shorter attention span. I don't know. 3 hours is a long time.
Definitely
for any movie.
Is. The only reason I would put the first one over the third one is because I feel like the first one really just sets the setting well. Mm-hmm. You get those big sweeping landscapes. You actually get to feel like Middle Earth is real, even though it's just New Zealand.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. Yeah, that's just why I would put that one over the third one. Yeah.
Released in December 17th, 2003. So every single movie came out
within a year of each other.
Yeah, with the December of that year. So
mm-hmm.
Two Towers, December 18th, 2002. And then Fellowship was
2003.
December 19th, 2001. So 01, 02, 03.
Fellowship, yeah.
And I mean, just imagine, like at the time, if we were able to live through that, it'd be like getting Civil War, Infinity War, and then Endgame 3 years in a row. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The closest thing we got to that kind of anticipation, at least in the first two years, was Force Awakens in 2015, Last Jedi in 2017, and then the god awful dog shit Rise of Skywalker in 2019.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what would have been bad marketing? I mean, they wouldn't have known this, but imagine if Two Towers came out in 2001 instead of 2002.
Oh my god. Like if it came out like in May of 2001.
No, if it came out in like December of 2001.
Oh, you
3 months after the Twin Towers fell.
Oh yeah. I thought you meant before it. Yeah, okay.
Oh no, afterwards. That would have, if that came out 3 months after 9/11, that movie would have bombed.
Oh my god.
No pun intended, people.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, that movie would not have done good if it was a year before.
Did you watch the Rick and Morty episode where they were like bombing this city that held them captive, and then they saw Two Towers, and they were like, no, we're not gonna do that.
No, I didn't.
Where they're like, we're better than that. We're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
What do you think the budget was
for this movie?
Yeah.
Let's make it an even hundo.
94 million.
Okay, not too far off.
Opening weekend.
Opening weekend. Let's go 375.
1,000?
Yeah, no, like
3.75 million. 375 million?
Yeah,
on the opening weekend? Nah, 62 million opening weekend.
Okay.
And then 947 million worldwide.
Okay. See, I figured more of a concentration would be in that first week.
Yeah, I mean that's for the U.S. gross. That's U.S. opening weekend. Sorry. So US,
oh, okay.
Yeah, U.S. So that's 62 million out of 342 million was the first weekend in the U.S. And then the whole total was 947 million, but that's not counting
So like a
adjusted for
fifth was just the
inflation
first
and then
weekend.
DVD sales and all that shit.
Okay.
So that's just box office, which is fan. If you adjusted it for inflation, I bet you it would probably be $1.5 billion or so.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
This is up to
if you did 60 out of 300, I mean that's just a fifth of it.
right.
So probably around like 200 million then. So 375, 200. Pretty good size leap.
Oh shit! Sorry, I was looking at the Twin Towers. I mean, two towers. All right, so it was the same budget for Return of the King. What was the opening weekend for Return of the King? 72 million for U.S. Gross,
Okay.
378 million. What was the worldwide gross for Return of the King, 2003?
1.3 bill.
1.146 bill.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why I was thinking that because I always knew this one made a lot. I was looking at the other one. Okay. All right, so they won an 11 Oscars. 11. That's unheard of. Best Picture, Best Director, Best Writing Adapted Screenplay, Best Film Editing, Best Art Direction and Set Direction, Best Costume Design, Best Makeup, Best Score, Best Original Song, Best Sound Mixing, Best Visual Effects.
So
Fuck.
I definitely agree with the best song. I feel like especially for the third one, the song that was it Mary who sung it or was it
Yeah, it was
the
Mary.
other one?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the song that Mary sang. It was just a really nice song.
Yeah, that
And it
was
like
pretty
kind of
good.
put me in that like somber mood, just that kind of almost hymn like singing with no music in the background. It's like, damn, this dude really is about to die.
That's a really good point. I honestly forgot how good that was when I.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a good singing voice. I don't know if
Yeah,
is he a singer prior to being an actor?
I have no idea, but I feel like I've seen that dude on a bunch of episodes of Saturday Night Live.
I don't know.
Like they look very familiar, but like comedy actors.
Interesting. I want to give you an idea here with these Oscars. There's
Okay.
not too many movies on here you might know. Do you know? You ever see City of God?
I've heard of it, never seen it.
It's a Brazilian movie. It's amazing. Yeah, 2004. This is 2003, 04. You're not gonna probably recognize a bunch of these.
Mm-hmm.
It beat Finding Nemo for best score, so that's good.
I don't really think Finding Nemo had that great of music.
Have you seen Lost in
Sounds score.
Translation
I have not.
or Mystic River?
I have not seen that either.
Okay.
Okay, no, it was Pippin. It wasn't Mary.
Okay. Pippin. I'm intrigued now because
Yeah, he's
he had
Scottish.
almost too good of a voice to be an actor. I mean,
He's a Scottish actor and musician.
he's a Scottish boy. Hi.
Aye, he was born in Glasgow to William and Mary Boyd. I think that was going more Irish.
Royal Scottish Academy of Music and Drama.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he was in not quite a lot of other things of late. I would say. Not a lot of big
Oh,
roles.
he was in the Chucky movies. I think that's where I remember him from.
You seen all those?
I've seen a few of them.
God,
What?
I'm not.
What?
A fan. I'm not a fan.
You don't like seeing Jennifer Tilly's tits?
Who?
Jennifer Tilly, the girl that's always in the nurse costume.
I don't know her.
Whatever. Get cultured, bud.
I just named off 5 movies and you haven't seen any of them.
Oh, they're trash.
What? Lost in Translation and Mystic River are not trash.
Yeah, I've never seen.
Finding Nemo, not trash. Not the best
Very
Pixar
true.
movie, but maybe that could be an episode because There's there's a big scale of good, bad, and fantastic. So it's we could do that one time, someday.
I definitely know my favorite Disney Pixar movie right off the top.
Go ahead.
Moana.
Really
I love Moana.
interesting.
I feel like in like a past life I was a Pacific Islander,
Oh yeah,
so it's like when she starts singing, it really does call me.
with all of your boat tattoos and
Yeah, man.
krakens.
That I'm drawn to the water, and yes, it's water. WOODER.
Shut up.
You know what? Go drink a glass of milk.
I think our fans, if it is so bold to call you fans,
I
don't
hope
want
you're
to hear me
fans.
mispronounce anything anymore because it's bad. Although I don't
No, I
think
think I do.
No, I think it's probably hurting their ears.
It's what gives you your chutzpah, you know?
Chutzpah.
Bringing a little Yiddish into it. Oh, all right. Back to Lord of the Rings. We're going too far. Yeah. All right. What do you think was the best battle scene in the movie?
Okay, I mean, let's break up the main battle because if you just do the whole battle scene, that's just gonna be the only one.
Well, yeah. Like
I
the
would-
best action sequence, you think?
I would go. So it's probably a tie between the first time that the army of man from Rohan takes their 6,000 horses straight into the orcs, and you can it feels like the Game of Thrones moment from Battle of the Bastards, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just a little more janky. There's like 3 or 4 horses in there you can see die artificially, and you're like, yeah, that it's hard to not think that that's real. You know what I mean? It's like it's hard to think that that's real. It's pretty janky, but the rest of it is great. 6,000 horses for a movie coming out in 2003. Hats off.
Yep.
But I really think that the elephants, you know, their first time being on screen to just before Legolas gets up there.
It was like my only problem with the elephants is how come Legolas is the only one that could take him down single handedly?
Because he's a badass elf and nobody else can get to that level. He was trained by the Elrond himself, laddie.
I don't know. Yeah, the elephants were badass. I honestly liked the 2 scenes where the orcs are taking over the cities, and the guys actually lose. I like seeing the progression of just the orcs actually taking land. That main chewed up bubblegum looking dude.
Oh yeah, the guy that was really insecure.
Mm-hmm. I like seeing him increasingly get cockier. Yeah, I feel like my favorite battles are when they would invade the castles and just completely run it over.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those were done very well. And I feel like they didn't have a lot of special effects either, because it was a lot of hand-to-hand fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more choreographed. So I think that's why I liked it a bit more.
Yeah, I agree. Best acting.
I feel like overall best acting has to go to Sean Astin.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, dude. And that's probably one of the biggest reasons why he's MVP, because his character is just so convincing and emotional and devout, loyal.
But all right, think about it like this too. Think of how much money this dude. Okay, I hope his contract gave him percentages rather than a flat fee. Starting off with that.
I would hope so too.
But
yeah.
I mean, this entire series is just gonna make this dude money for the rest of his life.
Right.
And I feel like that's why he could afford to play the dude with steroids in 50 First Dates. Because he's got that Lord of the Rings money coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So he could just hang out with Adam Sandler in 2 crazy, stupid movies in Hawaii.
Right. I would also go. I still think that Theoden's a great actor. You know, when he dies, he's getting all emotional and you know, being kind of triumphant. And
Yeah, that moment with him and his daughter at the end, like, you
Yeah, that was
did
solid.
save me. Yeah, very, very heartwarming. Pulls at the strings, shows fatherly love to a daughter that shouldn't have been on the battlefield.
That's true. What a horrible father for letting her get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Best heroic gesture. Fucking
So
Sam.
Sam, and then I liked when Aragorn, when the gates to Mordor opened,
Yeah.
how he just went right in.
Yeah, and I would also add to that Mirren and Pippin right
Oh
behind them.
yeah,
They were the first people to run
it was for Frodo,
towards them.
man.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
feel like this movie you really got to see the bravery of Merry and Pippin. It
Yeah.
actually gave him a deeper role rather than just the kind of comic relief.
Right. It deepened their impact on the plot rather than just have
Mm-hmm.
them walking through the forest with the Ents, which
Yeah,
you know. Yep.
and it was nice at the end too that Mary was able to kill the Dark Witch or the Black Knight or whatever he was.
The witch.
Yeah, the black dude, where he just kind of imploded on himself.
Oh yeah. I thought that they couldn't die. What did he die from?
They stabbed him in the back with that sword. First, he stabbed him in the back, and then the dude's daughter stabbed him in the face.
What did he get stabbed in the back with? I forget.
I think it was one of those orc swords
Okay.
because it was glowing blue, so I'm sure it was an orc sword.
Let's go best and worst CGI. Worst CGI is obviously Legolas getting on the. It's so janky.
Yeah, I want to see if I can think of another one. Uh, um,
I think the best CGI overall was either a tie between the Army of the Dead or just like the overarching shots of such a large army of, like it's hard to make 3D um, renders of actual
yeah,
people and people fighting.
hmm
So and it all looks really good.
yeah. I would that definitely I would say those two. Maybe even more so the Army of the Undead because it almost looked like one of those old timey ghost projections where they have the different layers of things.
Yep.
I think they kind of paid homage to that a little bit, but they did it very well.
Right.
But yeah, the sweeping shots. I mean, thinking about it, I was like almost exactly like Game of Thrones, but then I had to tell myself, hey, they were made at least 10 years uh, in between each other, so technology just exponentially increases during those times.
Right.
So it's like being able to get all of those horses kind of doing individual things and battling other people. Very good CGI.
Yeah, and not only the CGI for the horses, but the horses themselves, like the ones that they actually used, how
Mm-hmm.
well behaved and how trained they were. Like
Yeah.
they didn't have 6,000 horses, obviously, but
Mm-hmm.
the front line looked pretty real. I mean, that's still
Mm-hmm.
100 horses. So, to not get them
Okay.
hurt and to not have them, obviously, there was no gunshots going off that would scare a
Yeah.
normal horse, but
All right. I've got my worst CGI moment.
okay.
All right. You remember when Smeagol falls into the lava with the ring,
Yeah.
and the ring's just kind of sitting there?
Yeah, yeah.
It melts way too quickly.
Oh, you think?
It's sitting there, and then it just goes. Bloop. Like if you're gonna have a quick melt, have it melt quickly, or if you're gonna do that dramatic pull out like you're gonna do, have it fade quicker.
Yeah, that's a good
I
point.
don't know. That just stuck out to me. I feel like that could have been just done better.
Yeah, sometimes when something is so sought after and so important, you want it to have a longer death or longer, more
Mm-hmm.
meaningful end. I agree. I agree that it did kind of go quick.
Or they could have like cut it a certain way to where you could start to see the ring melt. You see the Eye of Sauron start to like collapse. Actually, maybe have those go simultaneously.
Oh, like he's
show how
reacting to the pain in a way, like he's being
exactly.
stabbed. Yeah, I got you.
Because the ring just vanishes, and then the tower collapses. Like I feel like it should have some type of continuity, togetherness.
I agree. I really love the cinematography. The crane shots and the sweeping shots and the tracking shots are really, really, really good.
Just this entire movie in general, just the landscape that it's filmed on is just impeccable, and the way that they were able to get those sweeping shots.
Yeah, there's just the way that Minas Tirith looks is amazing. I mean, it looks real. I'm sure a lot of it was. Just practical, just because you can't make that. You can't be walking around on the green screen the entire time. But really, really impressive to kind of mix the two, because obviously you're not making that huge, kind of stone outlook over the city where the top in the kingdom, or in the throne room, it juts out like 500 feet. You know what I mean? That would be kind of not practical in a way. But
yeah, definitely.
A cool visual for sure. My biggest pet peeve with that entire situation though is after the dude, forget his name again, gets burned alive. He's running. And he runs from the castle all the way past the white tree, past the courtyard, across. Basically, it looked like the length of probably 2 or 3 football fields. I mean,
long. It was at least a half mile.
Oh, long. And he's on fire the whole time. And he's just running, and he runs right off the edge. And then nobody cares. They just continue on. Like, I thought that was a really unnecessary scene. Like, good visuals, but, like, didn't make any sense. And, you know, just kind of like one of the... I actually laughed out loud about it. I thought it was pretty funny.
See, I was wondering, is that, like, the sky hole in Game of Thrones and the Vale? It's like they just like this is Sparta them just off that.
They throw them off, but I feel like the edge of that cliff would have just landed them down in the town square, because it wasn't. It's not like.
Well, yeah.
It's not like.
Just have fucking bodies flying down.
Yeah. They had the severed heads. You might as well have the whole body come too.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, everything will just kind of burst into a mist.
Yeah, I laughed at that scene. I thought that was hilariously unnecessary.
All right. So who's your favorite character throughout the series?
I'm a big fan of Gandalf. I think he's pretty consistent all the way through. Like I said, Samwise Gamgee is the MVP, and I just like following him along. But I also like Aragorn. I think he's badass. He's kind of like the Luke Skywalker with no personality in a way. You know.
Yep, he's very dry.
He's fulfilling his prophecy. So I like him.
See, I was gonna say probably like my serious answer would be definitely Samwise. I mean, I feel like that's probably just like the best role throughout the entire movie, and almost casted perfectly. Sean Astin played phenomenally.
Yeah.
But I really like Gimli.
Yeah. He's a really good comic relief. And also, for his height, he can kill some fucking orcs. That's for sure.
Yep.
With that axe.
See, I just like he's a very humble character, and his comedic points aren't too much. Right. It's not like Peter Jackson tried to like overshadow the movie with just these quick little comedic quips.
Right.
It was written very well for Gimli, to where it balanced between serious, funny, then the touching moments where it's like, I never thought I would fight standing next to an elf. But what about fighting with a friend? It's like those points are touching, you know?
Yeah.
And then you got him saying, you're gonna have to throw me, but don't tell the elf. Two Towers.
Oh, yeah. That was a good scene. Yeah, I also think at the end of the day, it's really impressive how they're able to keep Gimli and the hobbits actually a different size than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh, okay. So this actually just reminded me of another thing. The scene where it was Gandalf, Aragorn, Gimli, Legolas, and then Gandalf had Merry. Yeah, he had Merry on his horse when the gates opened
Mm-hmm.
and they start to ride back. You can clearly see that it's a very young kid and not a hobbit.
Oh, interesting.
Because like you see just almost like this 8-year-old kid sitting with Gandalf. That kind of resembles him, but it's very clearly a child.
Interesting. Sometimes they definitely did the body doubles.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's pretty cool. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, at least it's not a Starbucks cup in a scene.
Oh, cough, cough. Game of Thrones. God, I hate that show. Just kidding. I love it, but it's really disappointing.
I just want Winds of Winter to come out. I want some new Thrones books.
Give me that Thrones book, baby.
Oh man, I just want to see what happens. He said it's supposed to start off with 2 huge battles, one in the north and one in the south.
It's great. It's
Give me those battles.
Absolutely.
I'm also waiting for the third King Killer Chronicle to come out. Patrick Rothfuss. For some reason, you're listening to this. Please release your book.
I love Patrick.
Yeah, that's the series that I'm into right now. Very, very, very good series. If for some reason you need or you have the desire to read a 1,000-page book.
Are you listening to it?
Yeah, I listen to it on my commutes.
Splendid.
Yeah, this one's cool. It follows a kid who goes to like a magic school, and he's a musician, and he has to like play music to fund his way through school as he learns magic, and yeah,
Interesting.
very interesting. Cool. Mm-hmm. He's a showman, so like a lot of his things are kind of put on for him to get things that he needs because he can't pay for it. So he'll play like a lord's son, be a little pompous dickhead, just like do shit like that to get what he needs just to be able to survive. Very, very interesting.
Huh. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. But
Well,
yeah, the end
else
of
from
the
your-
Lord of the Rings.
Anything else from your side of things?
Um,
Last thoughts?
I like it. It was a very good series. I definitely want to go through the books again.
Right, 'cause this is your first time watching everything.
Mm-hmm. And now that I understand the story a lot more, I want to go through the books, see if I can pick up on any other little things,
Right.
stuff like that. Those little things.
I would love to do another series.
Yeah, I mean, plenty of series.
Maybe we
There's
could do like a more science fiction one, like Terminators or Alien, because the Alien trio is great.
Never seen the Alien movies.
Oh man! And then you talk about the prequels, which is Alien Covenant and Prometheus, and it's pretty great. It's a whole world. So not as long as
That could
these
be-
movies, I will say.
Yeah.
None are. But
Yeah, that could be a series we get on. I mean, there's always the Harry Potters. Those are
of course,
a very classic series.
of course.
I feel like that would be an easy bunch of episodes to do. We should honestly probably like group them,
Oh yeah, we could do that.
just so it's not 8 episodes.
Well, ladies and germs.
Oh, actually, before we go, so like Liam said, this episode being recorded on Monday, but still be released on Friday, Thursday, Friday. We're trying to be consistent-ish around there.
Sweet.
We get what we get, but no episode next week. Liam's going on a little vacay, so yeah. We'll get some time to regroup, gather some thoughts, and then we're thinking about kicking it back off with a nice serial killer episode.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be killing it a couple weeks from now. And
Getting into that nitty gritty.
yeah, talking about murder, talking about muck duck.
That's why it's murder, not muck duck.
How that doctor became a horse?
Honestly, the next series we should do is just the fucking Office.
Yeah.
Just like do season by season.
I love it.
Oh man. Well, hey, we got plenty of episodes.
Yes, sir. Lots of time.
Second shift ain't stopping. We just started this career. We are not retiring anytime soon.
Yeah. You don't just start things and quit it. That's not how we do.
No sirree bop. But yeah, we'll get some slicers and dicers, some slashers and bashers. It'll be a good episode. Find some freaky shit.
This episode of The Second Shift has been brought to you by Flamin' Hot Smart Food Popcorn.
Oh.
Get out there and try some today. I don't know if it's real, but
if we're doing plugs, I always plug audible.com. Please sponsor us. But I also want to plug SodaStream. Are you a fan of seltzer or like LaCroix and shit like that?
yeah.
Okay, so you should get a SodaStream.
Is that when you make your own?
I make my own bubbles.
Nice. I make my own bubbles in a hot tub.
I make my own bubbles in a bathtub, but that's besides the point. Dude, I save so much money not buying the individual cans of seltzer because it's a liter bottle and just makes quality carbonated water.
And you put your own flavorings in there?
Well, you can, yeah. You can buy like the SodaStream flavorings, or what I do, because the SodaStream flavors, a lot of them are very sugary.
Mm-hmm.
I grab like the Mios.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'll just shoot a squirt of Mio in it. Like right now I got a orange Mio in my bubbles, so it's kind of like a diet orange soda.
I got some orange Mio in my bubbles. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's funny.
We're living a great life over here.
I'll
the
take
bubbles.
a look into that, lad.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a avid bubble drinker, SodaStream makes some spicy water.
I dabble.
It's very good.
I dabble.
Plus, all you would need to do is just add a little shot of Vertger, and then got your own vodka club right there.
Shot of Verker.
Shot of Vertger.
A nice shot of vodka. That's what
And then you're getting a schmirker burr.
Schmarkerberg.
Did you watch Workaholics?
Yeah, I love it.
Schmirker burr.
Oh, we could do that. I would love to do that. I haven't watched that since we were in college.
Yeah. I'd be down for Workaholics. I haven't watched that either.
It's been
Like
great.
in a while.
Alright.
Also, we're going to do a 420 episode. Or at least I will. We're both in recreationally legal states.
That's true. And you don't know where I
So-
live. I live off the beaten path.
Mm-hmm. I live at the beach.
Bitch.
So,
Life
yeah,
at
the
the beach, I'm
beach,
just playing
bitch.
in the sand, right?
I mean, if you want to go that way, the thing we really do is just so there's a lot of Jeeps, and all the Jeeps have the same saying on it. It goes, "Eep, it's a Jeep."
They all have what? That's
Like, you know how you can have the tire cover?
Oh yeah.
They all go, "Eep, it's a Jeep."
Where's the J?
Well, it's supposed to be like "eep," like a little girl.
Like a shriek? Like a shriek?
Yeah. A Shrek shriek.
Like what the sound that a mouse makes when you come up on them, trying to catch them? Eep. Is that
Oh
what
my
it is?
god, I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember when we had a mouse in the apartment and it was in the trash can?
Oh yeah.
And I tried to flush it down the toilet and
Yeah.
it jumped out?
That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you wanted to burn it.
Yeah, a little sadistic back then. Probably should just let it go out the back door. It didn't work too well. Put it in
Well, it
Andrew's
ended
bed.
up Andrew. Should get him on for an episode.
We can. We gotta pick a topic that we all know.
An Andrew topic.
I don't know nothing about nutrition or working out.
Dietetics.
Yeah, diuretics and. I know. Actually, I do know
honestly,
a lot about diuretics.
Just have a Kid Cudi Travis Scott episode.
Do a whole episode on laxatives.
Honestly though.
Well,
Or we
ladies
could
and
just-
germs, we are ready to adjourn. ladies.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna go play some Elden Ring.
Ooh, how is that?
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
That
I mean,
sounds
granted,
fun.
I'm kind of just getting carried through, but I'm having fun. But yeah, everybody, thank you for listening to this week's episode. Remember, no episode next week, but we'll be right back with some juicy slice and dice, a little stick and poke action.
And we'll catch you on the flippity flip.
See y'all on the flippity flip.